Hello Flosstube friends, it's good to see you here. I'm very happy to be back. It's been a while, summer went a little crazy and I didn't get to record another video, but it is Tuesday now, it's September 14th, it's around 5:30 in the afternoon and I'm here to do another update. If you are a new subscriber or if you're new here, I really like to say welcome. My name is Annemiek. I'm from the Handwerk Boetiek, which is the shop I own in the northern parts of the Netherlands, and I have been stitching since I was about 5 years old. If you are a returning subscriber, welcome as well. It's good to see you here again. I always love catching up with you and show you what I've been working on. Like I said, it's been a while, but the upside of that is that there is a lot to show you. Now, before I get started, I wanted to show you our little fall exhibition that we have in the shop. We just put everything in place last week and I think it looks really pretty. So I will insert a clip here of the shop and the new fall models. Enjoy! Hello friends, I thought it would be nice to show you what fall looks like in the shop in these weeks. Starting out on the top right corner here is Autumn Alphabet by the Scarlet House. It was stitched on 40 count Café au lait Newcastle linen by Zweigart with all the called for threads. It's a really pretty design. I really loved how the fall colors came to life on the fabric. Then if we move over here, you see Pumpkin Spice and Everything Nice, also by the Scarlet House, as well as the Pumpkin Witch, I think, by Pineberry Lane. It's just been released. I got it as a kit from Dying to Stitch and stitched it up last year. And Kobe worked her magic and turned all these into beautiful little pillows. So then we move to the left. You can see all the roadworks that are going on behind. Down here is a Prairie Schooler. Trying to remember the name of it. I don't really know. It's one where you get 3 different designs and this one was all fall related. I love Prairie Schooler. She did the best designs, I think. It's so pretty. Then down here, not really fall, but they're still very nice. On the right, you can see Kitties in the Round by JBW Designs, and on the left is, I think it's called Merry Christmas Alphabet or Christmas Alphabet by Kathy Barrick. I stitched the one on the left, and that was done on 50 count linens from Zweigart. It was a bit of a challenge, but it worked out really nice. So that's that. Then I'll move you over. I'll try not to get too much of the sunlight. This is Stephanie de Schmidt by Reflet de Soie, a French designer. It's a darning sampler and it's still one of my favorites. It's really pretty. I'll try if you can see a bit more close up. There it is. Nothing to do with fall, but it just needed a place. Then I'll move you up here. This is Celebrate Halloween by Madame Chantilly. It was stitched on 32 count platinum linen by Zweigart. And up there is Owl's Tree, I think, by Satsuma Street, sorry. The linen is from Witchild, and I think it was called Halloween. Not 100% sure. It's a 32 count. Then I'm going to move you. I'll do it slowly because otherwise you might get seasick. Then we go over here. There is Alphabet Pumpkin by JBW Design. I stitched this on an 8, no, that's not, it's on an 8 threads per centimeter, but it's a 20 count linen blend. It's not 100% linen. And I used a Karen Collection watercolors for the design. Then we're moving down here. That is the Autumn Pindrum by Kathy Barrick that she just released at the Needlework Expo in August. She designed this for us for our Pindrum, our second run of the Pindrum Club last year. And it's a real pretty one. You'll hear more about that later on in my Flosstube video. Then I'm slowly moving. Hello Fall by the Scarlet House. Again, this was stitched on 40 count Café au lait Newcastle linen, and on the left of it is Fall Lala by Bent Creek, and this was done on 40 count vintage country mocha linen. It's all with the call for colors, and I just really love how even though they're different designers, all the colors seem to go together. Down here in the corner, you can just see it, is Halloween Bird by Heart in Hand Needle Art. I stitched this last year, and this was done on 40 count Newcastle linen Café au lait. It's almost like a theme here. It's one of my very favorite colors, 40 count, to stitch on. And then if I move you down here, there's one of the center motifs of the Prairie Schooler that I showed you earlier, the chart. It has 3 designs, and this is the center part of one of the other designs. Then slowly moving up, we still have some linen sample packages available. And then up here is Wee Bits of Halloween by the Drawn Fret. Again, I stitched this last year. It is stitched on 32 count Beautifully Beige by Witchold, and stitched with the called for dinky dyes and silks. It was a real fun to stitch. There are some specialty stitches in the design, not too many, but just enough to make it interesting, and it was really fun to do. Then I'm going to move you over here, up there. Again, not really fall, but we love the colors and we love this design. So Peace on Earth by Kathy Barrick is still here. Then if I turn the corner, I'll go up first. Let me get over here. That's Eek by Bent Creek Designs with the called for threads on a 32 count, no, on a 36 count R&R linen. I don't recall the color. And then if we go up there, oh, it's a little bit of an awkward angle, but it's by Artful Offerings, something squirrel, I don't remember. But it was stitched with most of the called for threads. We might have changed a few ourselves. And then we go down, down, down. I'll go slow. Over here, another Prairie Schooler. This is another one as well. This was not the main design. These were the 4 little square designs that she included, and I put them underneath one another, and Kobe turned it into a lovely banner. And down here is Pumpkin Flower by Bent Creek. This is an older design, and I checked, and unfortunately it's not available at the moment at Hoffman's, so you may need to check a few shops in order to get this. It is an alphabet, and then in between the alphabet are rows with specialty stitches. This was stitched by me in, I don't know, a very, very long time ago. I'm thinking something along the lines of 15 years ago. And I also finished it myself, which is quite unique. So those are all our new fall models that we just put up in the shop. I hope you enjoyed the little tour, and I will continue with my regular Flosstube update. I hope you enjoyed that. We really had fun putting all the fall pieces in their place, and like I said in the video, it's remarkable how you can stitch different designers, but if the season is the same, the colors pretty much go together, and I really enjoy having that rustic look here in the shop in its own little corner. We're working on some more fall projects. Some may be finished next year, some may be finished this year. It's one of those seasons as a shop that falls a little bit in between, because normally what we do is starting July, usually we start working on Christmas models, because as you know, it takes a while to get things done. And every year we want to have some new models for our Christmas open days in November. So we usually start around July. Then we stitch Christmas pretty much nonstop till mid-November when we have our Christmas open days. Then we do winter until maybe January. Sorry for the noise. I thought the road construction workers were gone for the day, but apparently somebody's still there and making noise. So we'll just deal with it. And then in January, we start working on spring, summer. So fall is always something we have to sort of keep in mind, like, oh yeah, we do need to get some new fall models. Last year I stitched a couple of pieces for fall, and Kobe took the time this year to finish them for the shop, and she did an incredible job. They look wonderful, and it's really nice to have them out now, so I really enjoy it. Anyways, my last video was in July, and I had every intention of doing one in August and then another one in September. However, it was just busy this summer. I was busy with other things. I didn't stitch as much in July as I had anticipated, so beginning of August I really didn't have much to show, and I decided I'll just, give it a go and just keep on stitching and then do a longer update in September. So here it is. I celebrated my birthday in August, and I got the cutest gift from Gobi, so I'll share it with you here. This is how I received it, in a little basket. It's a metal basket, and then she put 3 little strawberries in there. So this is the first one. It has my initial and my birth year. Then we have the smaller one, which has the current year, 2021. And it has my initials here at the bottom. And then there's this one, also with the current year, my initials again. And they were stitched on a 36 count linen that she hand dyed herself. Doesn't it look gorgeous? I'm really impressed. She did a wonderful job with the finishing, as always. It's really, really pretty. So that's on my desk, and I really enjoy it. I see it every day, and it's very meaningful. So I wanted to share that with you as well. Then I've been stitching on my Christmas in July plans that I shared with you in my last video. I stitched the Prairie Schooler 2021 Santa in July. That was in the last video. And then I either showed you or told you that I was going to do a Merry Little Christmas Sampler by La Di Da, as well as Love and Joy by October House Fiber Arts. My plan was to, kind of ambitious, but my plan was to pretty much start and finish them within a week. That just went haywire for some reason. I didn't get as much stitching time as I thought I would have. I didn't always feel like stitching. So in the end, it took until mid-August before I had finished these. So let me share them with you. I have to scoop over a little. Sorry about that. This is a Merry Little Christmas Sampler by La Di Da. Now, I made a few changes in the colors as well as in the design. As you can see, there are 2 kitties underneath the Christmas tree instead of 2 dogs. I'm a cat person, so I thought it was more appropriate if I had kitties underneath the tree. And I changed the threads to over-dyed threads that I picked myself. If you would like to have the conversion, please let me know, and then I can add it to the drop-down box of this video. It was stitched on a 40 count Newcastle linen by Zweigart. The color is 99. I think it's called Winter Moon. Over here in Europe, it is no longer being produced. Really sad, because it's a lovely color. It's in between antique white and ecru, so it was a very good color for samplers. This was a great stitch to do. Like I said, it took me a bit longer than I kind of thought I would, but I really enjoyed stitching it. Then I have Love and Joy by October House Fiber Arts. And as you may be able to see, I stitched this 1/1 on 28 count linen bending. I'm supposed to finish it off quite easily. Just, hold on. I will just sew the ends here together and here, and just stuff it and finish it as a little ornament pillow. So that's that. This was stitched, I think, pretty much with the call for threads. I have to admit that every now and then I will just look at the picture of the design and will pick colors from my stash that I have available that were already used for another piece and just go along with that. So it might be that it's a little bit different from what the design says, but again, if you need help with colors, just let me know. That was that. Then we were kind of like around the 20th of August, I think, when I finished this. And I was really hunkering basically for a new start. I was torn between starting all the things and finishing all my whips. It's like a regular thing that happens here, usually during my summer break, since I have a luxurious 4 weeks off from my university job. And at a certain moment, I feel like, oh, I have so much time to stitch now. I can stitch all the things and I want to start all the things. There are so many new designs out that are really calling my name. Unfortunately for me, the reality is that I don't stitch as fast as I used to. I don't know why, but it's simply the truth. And also, I don't have as much time as I think I have to stitch. So, especially the second week of my holidays, I didn't stitch that much, but I did start and finish something. And this is Cranky Owl, by Modern Folk Embroidery. Jacob de Graaf from Modern Folk Embroidery has started a new series called Dark Crosses. You can find them on our website, and they are the most delightful Halloween-y kind of designs. I really like, they have sort of humor to them, like this Cranky Owl. I mean, you could have him hanging out pretty much all year round. I mean, I stitched him in fall colors. You could even stitch this in like spring colors and have a springy Cranky Owl. I used, again, the 40 count Newcastle Café au Lait linen, number 3077 for those of us in Europe. And I used a mystery silk and colors thread that I had in my stash. I think these monochrome designs are perfect to use up threads that you have in your stash. You might have gotten it in like a mystery bag. You might have gotten it in a sale somewhere. Maybe somebody gave you threads to use. To give you an indication for this design, I used 1.5 yard of 12 ply silk. So it might take a bit more silk than you think it does. For me, I thought I could easily do it within 1 yard of silk, but that was not the case. So here he is in all his glory. I'm going to finish him in a wooden embroidery hoop, and then we'll put him up here with the rest of the fall models. So after that, I was still kind of obsessed with everything round, so all the round designs. And I have stitched Christmas in the round, bunnies in the round, and now I have stitched Halloween in the round by JBW Designs. Again, this is on the same fabric. It's just Cranky Owl is just on the other side of it. There we go. So I left enough room in between the two designs that I can cut them apart and finish them in an embroidery hoop. If you would like to finish either one of them in a little frame, I would suggest that you have at least 6 inches or 15 centimeter in between the two designs to give you enough linen fabric to finish it, to properly get it in a frame. So back to my Halloween in the round. JBW, Julia Whitman, has done an incredible job with these designs. I absolutely love them. They're made of all these little motifs and they form a perfect circle. Now, I've been designing myself as well, and getting a perfect circle is not as easy as it sounds. If you have a line around it, like with Cranky Owl, it's easier. But with Halloween in the round, the motifs make up the circle. So an incredible job. And it's always fun to look for the little things like the Halloween boot there, the moon, a crow, I imagine, a squirrel, cat, another cat, owl, squirrel, a little basket, there are acorns, a witch's head, a pumpkin. Really, really, really a lovely design. One thing I want to warn you about, you really have to count carefully. There's no messing up with this design. If you put a motif out of place, it will mess up the border idea of the circle. So you really have to put everything in its right place. Now, I don't know if you can really, yeah, you can see it. This was done with another silk and color mystery thread. Back in the days, let me just put this down for a moment. Back in the days when thread gatherers still visited Nashville, the Nashville show in Nashville, duh. Well, actually, it moved to Franklin in Tennessee, but we still call it the Nashville show. She would have like these little grab bags with remnants of silk and silk, not just the regular silken colors, but her pearls, her ribbons. There were different kind of threads in these little packages, and I would buy one or two for myself, and I would call that my thread therapy. So what I would do is when I got home, I would just untangle everything and then put it on little floss keepers, or in some cases, I had so much of the thread that I could actually wind it into a little ball of yarn. So the Halloween, I still have quite a bit left of that, which is fun because there are a couple of other Halloween designs that I think would look perfect in this color. Now, as a shop owner, it's always debatable whether you should use something that's a mystery linen or not, or a mystery thread in this case, because a lot of customers ask what color did you use, and it's not very satisfying to have to answer, well, it was a mystery thread from my own personal stash. However, I do want to use these, and when they're the right color, I will just, use them, and they're within the range of other thread producers. There are usually threads that you can easily use instead of the one that I used. And also, it's a personal choice. I liked it because it had purple, brown, oranges, a bit of yellow in there. Those might not be your colors. You might prefer like a neon green with purple and yellow for your Halloween piece. So with these monochromatic pieces, it's always nice to just pick whichever combination you think suits you the best. So that was my other finish. Then I went on to a heart in hand sort of obsession. I'll move the camera a little bit, not to get you dizzy, but over here on the left you can see quilting bird and stitching bird. Over, let me see, right here, these two. And Cecilia had published these kind of seasonal and holidays birds way back. I think she said something like 10 or 15 years ago that the first ones were published. And back in the days, they didn't really grab my attention for some reason. However, last year, 2 years ago, she came out with Stitching Bird and Quilting Bird, and those I really, really loved. So I stitched them up on 40 count. One is stitched on Newcastle Cafe au Lait. The other one is stitched on Newcastle Vintage Country Mocha. I didn't add the buttons that were on the design because they were a little too big, because I decreased the linen count. The originals are stitched on 32 count, and I thought it would look a little out of proportion. So instead I used some mother of pearl buttons that I had in my collection. Again, as a shop owner, do you do that or not? But I want to use up my personal collection as well. Anyway, with Christmas coming up, like I said, we are always stitching Christmas starting July. I decided to stitch Christmas Bird. So this is Christmas Bird. This is done on 40 count Vintage Country Mocha. It's stitched with the called for colors, not necessarily the called for threads, but the called for colors. So there's a dark and light green, the red, the white, and then there's a yellow for the beak and the gift, and the bird was stitched in Garden Gate. Cecilia used a more black hand-dyed thread, which I thought looked a little too harsh, so I changed it to Garden Gate, which is like a dark gray, anthracite gray, which I really, really love for these birds. So he's done. There's supposed to be a button over here. I still have to go through my stash and see what kind of button I have. My idea is to use like a square mother of pearl button, which hopefully has 4 holes, and then use a red thread to go over the button into the hole so that you can get sort of like red stripes on the mother of pearl button. If I don't have one, I'll just have to make do with what I have. And then while I still had these colors out, I wanted to stitch Winterbird as well. So here is Winterbird. He's done in the same color. Oh, this looks better. He's done in the same colorway as my Christmas bird. And I used Schoolhouse Red for the bird and Alder Red in this one and in the Christmas one. I think Schoolhouse Red might be my new favorite red for Christmas. It's a very nice color. It's not too red. It's not brown red. It's really, for me, it's Christmassy red. As you can probably imagine, there have to be buttons over here. So I'm going to see what I have and put some other of pearl buttons on there as well. So, oh, and in case you are wondering, this was also stitched last year. Coffee First by With Thy Needle and Fred Brenda Gervais. I thought I would just use the rest of this piece of linen. Here we go. To use it up for the other little designs. Now I have Autumn Bird on its way for me from Hoffman, so that I can stitch Autumn Bird as well. And then we will have sort of like couples that we can display. So we'll have the Halloween and the Autumn Bird, and we will have Christmas and Winter Bird. We have the stitching and quilting bird. I know there's a farmhouse bird that Cecilia released in the last 2 years, I think. I'm really hoping that she'll release more of these birds. I have an inkling of emailing her and saying, oh, please, 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 can you please do another bird? I don't know if she's tired of them. I can imagine, I think this is number like 14, 15, 16. She might be a bit tired of doing them, but I really like them. And they're getting really small on 40 count, which I think looks adorable. So I'm very glad that I got those two done. Once I had these done, I started on what I called my white adventure. I think I started this on a Thursday evening and I finished it on a Monday evening. Now this was still during my vacation, so I had plenty of time to stitch during the day, which normally is of course not the case since I have to work then. Anyway, here is Iced Tree by Hello from Liz Matthews. This is a lot of white stitching. I've stitched it on a 32 count Belfast linen. It's the regular line of Zweigart. I don't know the color by heart, but it's the regular line. And it's stitched with Venus 2010, which is the equivalent of DMC blank or B5200. Doesn't really matter. Any white you have will do. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that you will need 2 skeins. I ran out of the first skein, I think when I was about on the 3rd row, somewhere here. So you definitely need more than 1 skein. So if you only have 1 skein in your collection, especially if you don't know for sure what the color is, I would suggest you just buy 2 new ones. You wouldn't be able to see it maybe if you look at the thread itself, but if there's a big difference between B5200 and white, and if halfway you would change it from white to B5200, once you start stitching, you would definitely see it. So make sure you get 2 skeins of the same color number. So that was my other finish, and I think that was the last one that I finished. Yeah. It was really amazing to have this time during the week to stitch during the day. I'm not really used to that, only on Sundays. And I really enjoyed it. These were all new starts. I thought I would give myself a little bit of a break from finishing my whips. The one thing I didn't work on, which I kind of regret, is American Homes by Historische Stickmuster. I just wanted to start new things. I think it sounds familiar. Then I wanted to share something else before I go to, I only have 3 whips that I can show you because, well, I started a whole lot of new things and finished them. This was a gift that I got from a very dear lady in Amstelveen. It is a cross-stitch sample book from the early 1900s. I think it's amazing. It has this Art Nouveau style of of the cover, the design. And then if you look inside, here are some of the motifs. It's really very, very pretty. They have in the front, it says it was published because of a, I think it's like a society, and it was called The Wife and Her House, The Woman and Her House. And they opened up May 1st, 1905. So, and it says, above that it says, what we want. Well, what we want is to stitch. And apparently back then the ladies wanted the same thing. It's very funny. I can't say that the book is from the same year. I'm trying to look into it, see if I can find out exactly when it was published, but it's definitely the early 1900s. They have, let me see if I can show that. They have, yeah, you won't be able to read it, but they give you per page an explanation of the motifs that were used and how they were used and in what kind of household linen. In the back they have beautiful black and white pictures of old samplers. Again, I haven't read it enough to know whether these were made in the early 1900s or whether these were heirlooms from way back. But it's really nice to look at it. The book is still in an excellent condition. There are no pages torn, ripped, or whatever. You can see the binding is still completely intact. And like I said, it was a gift from a dear, dear lady here in the Netherlands, and she knows that I will treasure it for the rest of my life. And I might look at some of the motifs and see if I can share that in some way or another with you. So that was another gift that I got. Then onto my whips. I did work a bit on Louise Koenig by Stacy Nash Designs. Here she is. And let me see. I got a fair bit done. I think I'm about 2/3, almost 2/3 done. I think if I fill in everything that's left, then there's her name underneath the bottom alphabet and then another flower border. So it'll be a while, I think, before I'm completely done, but that's okay. I was working on this, stitching one strand of red thread before bed. And then in my vacation time, it didn't work out that way. So she's been resting for a bit, and I plan to pick her up this week. It'll be fun to work on her. It's a very lovely design, and I truly enjoy having these reproduction samplers that designers make sure that we can sort of recreate a bit of history. This is really a lovely design. I don't know if I've ever shown you before, but every alphabet she ends with a dot, which I think is pretty unusual. At least I've never seen it in Dutch samplers. Maybe I haven't seen the right samplers, but you can see there's one behind every O and every Z. So, and especially the last alphabet here at the bottom, I think it's really, really pretty, even to use nowadays for names and, you know, if you want to write places or a verb or a poem. It's a very nice alphabet. So I think Louisa did an excellent job way back when. Yeah, so hopefully I can finish her this year and then she can get framed. I'm not going to finish her as a scissor pouch. I think it's a little... Well, to me, I think after all the time I put into her, I just want to have her in a frame and put her on the wall here. Then another reproduction, also by Stacy Nash, Hannah Jenkinson's. I'm stitching this with my Australian friend Bernadette. Hi. Every Sunday we stitch for about an hour, hour and a half together, and are working our way through a multitude of eyelets, which has slowed me down quite a bit. I'm not enjoying those eyelets on a 36 count linen. They're kind of tedious to stitch. I did, however, finish the border. No, the border. Finish the alphabet. So here she is. I'm done with the alphabet, but as you can see, in between the last two lines of the alphabet, there's an eyelet border that I still need to do. And after the Z, there are the initials of Hannah Jenkinson's and an ampersand that I still need to do in eyelets. However, this last Sunday, I decided to stitch the bottom row of letters to give myself a break from the eyelets. I was just a little fed up with the eyelets, so that's what I decided. And then I just gotta grab something back. Then I decided to start another fall piece. Kobe had already stitched it, but this is Autumn Pindrum by Kathy Barrick. She released it at the last Needlework Expo, but she designed it for us last year for our second year of the Pindrum Club. And I hadn't started mine. I just kept putting it off, saying I have enough whips and, you know, there's only so much time. But when I was cleaning up the kitchen, I found a few of the kits and I decided, well, all the threads are already in there. The fabric is in there. I don't have to cut anything. I don't have to look for anything. So this was pretty easy to start. So I made a beginning. I haven't done a whole lot of it. This is like, I think 2 evenings. I'm working on the house and it's really, really lovely. The bricks work in 2 different colors of orange, are so great. And here I was happily stitching along, not paying 100% of attention to the design. And what did I do? Let me show you. I made a mistake. So I hope you can see it if I put it up closer. You see there's one line not stitched next to the door. That's because the door, between the door and the doorpost, had to be 2 crosses. And on one side I did 2 and on the other I did 1. So I'm going to fill this in with dark brown to make the door a little wider. And then I added, I think, 1 line on this side so that the house on both sides ends the same. Oh, that's the back. Here we go. And this means that it is now just as wide as it is supposed to be, and then I can add the roof to it and pay more attention to what I'm stitching. Anyways, that is something that will be going into my rotation. I think that I want to pick up American Houses this week and start stitching on it 1 or 2 evenings a week to finish the 3rd block. I didn't bring it downstairs because nothing changed since last time. But I do want to put in some time with the Autumn Pindrum. Kathy had never designed a Pindrum before, so we were really, how do you say that, honored that she did that for us, that she accepted the challenge and designed such a great Pindrum for us. I've had some questions about our club. We are going to start a new club in 2022. I'm working at the final details with some designers, and once that's all fixed and set, then I will let you know. The ladies who were part of the club in 2020 are going to have the first chance to sign up, and if there are spaces left, then I will put out a general call for people if you're interested to sign up for a new club. I can already tell you that it's not going to be a Pindrum again. It's going to be a different way of finishing. So a little teaser. Then I already said I was cleaning up the kitchen and I came across a few kits. We just have a few left of the Autumn Pindrum Club. So in the kit, you will get, of course, the fabric. It's a 36 count Winter Moon Edinburgh linen. You will get the threads, which is a combination of DMC and Weeks Dye Works hand-dyed threads. All the threads are measured to stitch the design 1/2. And then, since we made complete packages out of these kits, finishing kits out of these clubs, you will get the rickrack that was used. You will get the pumpkin velveteen that was used for the pumpkin on top of the pin drum. And then 2 pieces of pepper velveteen by Lady Dot Creates for the top and the bottom of the design. You will get a piece of interfacing. There it is. And you will get 2 pieces of acid-free carton for the finishing. Now, I don't know how many people use carton to finish their pin drums. We have a tutorial about how to finish these with the cartons, and you'll get that as well. Now, I haven't looked at pricing or anything, so I will need to put that in the show notes of this episode. Think about around 47 euros a piece, which does not include shipping. There are only a few left, so if you want to have the complete kit with everything but the kitchen sink, you have to bring your own needle and your own stuffing and some sewing thread. I think that's about it. The rest is all included. And you will get this tutorial about how we finished our pin drums. That will be depending on what you want, either a Dutch one or an English one. So make sure if you email me about this that you let me know which one you want to have. They all include photos and the same instructions, so it's just a language difference. Anyway, I have a few of those left, so give me a shout out if you want to have something to start soon and enjoy the fall season. Then I think that's about it. I don't have a whole lot of plans. I am planning on working on Louise Koenig. I really would like to try to have her done this year. The same goes for Hannah Jenkinson. Bernadette and I are kind of looking into what kind of sampler we want to stitch next year. We've already decided that it's not going to have any eyelet stitching in it. And I want to finish this autumn pin drum. And there are a few more whips that I want to work on. American Homes is not going to be finished this year. There's just way too many stitches in there. But I'm going to just enjoy my time with it. It's a beautiful design. If you haven't seen it, I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And yeah, I'm just going to enjoy my time stitching. I really, I don't want to make too many plans. I always say that, and then I make in my head, I start making plans, but it's nice to have an occasional start and to get a little bit done on my whips. It's not that it's out of control. I feel really good about all these projects that I started and finished these past weeks, but there are a couple whips that I would like to give some attention, and who knows, I might be able to finish another 2 or 3 this year. Anyway, friends, it was nice to talk to you, nice to share my stuff with you. It's always nice to have these little chats and show you what I've been doing. I hope you're doing well. I hope you are enjoying your stitching. I hope that now that in the northern part of the world it cools down a bit, and I'm pretty sure not everywhere, but over here the weather is very agreeable to stitch. It's not too hot, it's just nice weather to stitch. I hope you have the same. If you're in the southern hemisphere, I know it's going to, well, it's probably not that warm yet where you are. I hope. Anyways, enjoy your stitching. Take good care of yourself and your loved ones, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye.